Hello you all, I'm BlaqueWitchYaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and we are back with another Orisha story. Today we are doing the story of Olokun, but before we dive deep into this story, get it, because Olokun is in a deep ocean, but before we dive deep into this story, I have to do my disclaimer that I have to do at the beginning of all of my Orisha stories, just for people still to comment crazy stuff. So, first things first, I am not initiated. The information and the stories that I share are not a secret just for the initiated, because if it was a secret, why would I know it? Also, this may not be the story that your great-grandmother told you, your grandmother told you, your TT, your baba, your elder, or whoever, but all of the stories have the same moral, and it really depends on who you practice under and what exactly do you practice, Ataria, Ifa, whatever. The stories may vary, but the moral of the story is the same. So if you were learned or if you were taught something different, let me know down below, just so we could share all aspects that you're able to share, just so we could all learn a little bit more about Olokun. And last thing, I say Olokun. I know a lot of people say Olokun, Olokun. I am Southern, so Olokun it is. So you will hear me say that throughout the story. But I believe that's it. So let's dive into the story of Olokun. So throughout this story, you will hear me refer to Olokun as he, when in actuality, he's more of an androgynous being. So it depends on what exactly you practice, whether or not you and your people will refer to Olokun as he, as she, or as just Olokun. So the pronouns will vary, but I was learned and I understand Olokun as a he being. And also when it comes to teaching, it makes it easier, because since Yemaya and Olokun are always joined together and associated with each other, just when it comes to learning them in general, I refer to Yemaya as a she and I refer to Olokun as a he. So you may refer to them as she or he, or just, I don't know. But in this story, I will refer to Olokun as a he. So when you hear or when you learn about Olokun, more than likely 9 times out of 10, it is in direct correlation with Yemaya, because they are strongly associated together, because they are both located in the ocean. So with that being said, to get the full picture of Olokun, make sure you guys check out my Yemaya video before or after this video to get the full picture, but I'll be referring to her in this story as well, because to know one is to know the other. And for people who are the son or daughter of Yemaya Olokun, you're usually the son or daughter of both, because it's good to have a balance of both Orisha to really balance out your characteristics and your attributes. Usually if you have too much Yemaya, you're too nurturing, you're too caring, you just let people run all over you. And if you have too much Olokun, you may flex your muscle a little bit too much, you may overuse your power. But if you have the balance of both, you are able to just be a balanced person overall. Olokun is known as one of the most mysterious and dangerous Orisha there is. Along with that, he is known to hold all the secrets, riches, and treasures of the ocean. Just think of the ocean like it's at the bottom of the very bottom. Like when you think you reach the bottom, even more bottom-er than that. So basically anything that goes into the ocean must come down. What goes up must come down. What goes down will keep going down. So basically Olokun gets all the tea. Like he knows a lot of secrets to the world, because he's in that bottom isolated area. Olokun name literally translates to I run this, that this is my water. Olokun is a contraction of the word Olokun, meaning owner, and Okun meaning ocean. So that's a translation to owner of the ocean. And we learned that Yemaya is mother of the fish. Olokun and Yemaya work hand in hand 99.9% of the time, so much so that people find it dangerous if you try to separate the two by saying maybe you're this daughter of one and not the daughter of another. If you're doing spell work and utilizing one and not the other, they really feel like when you're doing any type of practices, you use both of them because they work hand in hand. So if you're going to the ocean, if you're giving an offering to Yemaya, you may want to have an offering for Olokun too, because how you going to go to his waters without bringing him anything, because he is the owner of the ocean. So that's why when you see people give offerings or you hear people give offerings, they'll say I have this for Yemaya, I have this for Olokun, or I have these grapes, some for Yemaya, some for Olokun. They'll always have something for both, just to show respects to the power that they both have. So, are y'all ready for a story? A little paraki. Usually for instances like this where there's multiple different stories, translations, and sharings, I'll do a part 1 and a part 2, but usually I forget to do a part 2. So in this video, I'll share basically the same story, but different endings that different teachings have. You guys will get it in a minute. It has the same moral, but sometimes the characters are different, swapped out, but the moral of the story is the same. So let's get into the first story. But before we get into the story, let's get into the crystal of the day you guys see around my neck. I chose this crystal because it just gives me anda da si, and I felt that it was perfect for the story of Olokun. Anyone who participates in acting, public speaking, or passionate about communication in general needs a lapis lazuli, and I like to call this bad boy the sweet talker. It is known as the performance stone. This metamorphic rock encourages honesty, clear speaking, confidence, harmony, and positive attention. And if you would like to dive under the sea, you can get your sweet talker from BlaqueWitchYaya.com. So at one point in time, Olokun was very dissatisfied with the humans on earth. He was displeased with humankind. He felt that they were just polluting and taking advantage of his water. So he wanted to teach them a little lesson. So he began to guide the water, command the water to recede back and to swell. And people on land saw this and knew that Olokun was upset. He wanted to flood the land to just get rid of everything on it, around it, in it. He wanted to punish humankind for the disrespect that they're showing him. So people on the land began to see this. They knew something was about to go down, so they immediately started looking for help. So along with the people in the land, the Orisha saw this going on as well, and they hopped in for help, and they knew the perfect person to go to was Orunmila, which will be the next Orisha we cover, who is the Orisha over divination. So they knew going to him, they would get sound advice and the next steps to follow. So with going to him, he did his work. We'll dive into that story deeper when we cover him. But basically he said you need to get in contact with Ogun because he is the Orisha of iron, metal work, industrial, and get him to make the biggest metal chain he can. So in the meantime, in between time, the people of the land are running to Obatala like, look what Olokun about to do. Get your dude. Like, we learned our lesson. We'll work with him. Just please stop him from the destruction he's about to do. So Obatala went immediately to Ogun to get the chain that Orunmila told him to make, and he stood there solid between the ocean and the people, waiting for Olokun. So when Olokun heard that Obatala was waiting for him, he was kind of like, dang, man, he interrupted my plan. Because Olokun had really deep and has really deep respect for Obatala. So immediately he rose upon a tide to see what Obatala was waiting for. Now, this version of the story where the endings vary. So we're up to this point. Olokun was dissatisfied with humankind. He wanted to send a wave to destroy everything on the land. So now we're at the point where Obatala is there face to face with Olokun, between the Olokun and the people. So now in one ending, it says that Olokun had such deep respect for Obatala that he decided to back out on his plans and just to be calm, cool, and collective. In another version, it says Olokun was like, okay, but still I'm upset. I need to show that you can't disrespect my waters. You have to show respect to my waters. So much so that he still wanted to do his plan, that Obatala had to chain him to the bottom of the ocean using the chain that Ogun made. So that purpose of that chain was to tie Olokun to the bottom of the ocean. In another version, it shares that Obatala knew how Olokun felt. He knew that his waters were being disrespected and he was being taken advantage of, and how people should show respect to the ocean. And he knew that he created mankind, he created humans, so he decided to take the punishment upon the people. Like, don't send your wave, I'll take upon the punishment because this is my creation. So don't do the wave, tie me down to the bottom of the ocean, and I'll be punished on their behalf. So in that story, it shares that Obatala actually chained himself to the bottom of the ocean for a period of time until Olokun calmed down. So those are different versions of the story, but moral of the story, that Olokun felt disrespected by the people and how they were treating the water, so he wanted to evoke punishment upon them. The tidal wave did not happen, so either in one story he was tied to the bottom of the ocean, Obatala was tied to the bottom of the ocean, and in one, Obatala was able to calm him down because of the respect that Olokun has for Obatala. Now, within that same story, there is another ending as well that includes Yemaya. Yemaya was made aware and saw the ocean receding and knew what Olokun was about to do. So right when he was about to strike the wave to end everything, she was able to calm Olokun down and say, listen, calm down, it's okay, everything's going to get better, they're not intentionally disrespecting you, don't do this isn't going to solve everything. And Yemaya was able to calm Olokun down, but with the waves and everything about to happen, it was able to spread cowrie shells all across the land, and that's why we have cowrie shells on land now. And fun fact, back in the day, cowrie shells was actually used as a way of currency, so that's why they said Olokun is the richest Orisha there is, because he has access to all the old currency that was once used, the cowrie shells, the jewels, all the fun artifacts are always found at the deep bottom of the ocean, and he has access to all of that. So when the wave was about to strike, he was able to spread cowrie shells upon the land. So that's an alternate ending and a little story behind why we have shells on shore now when they're technically located at the bottom of the ocean. Another version of this story that has the same moral, but I really like this story as well because it explains another story that doesn't sound so good that's floating around, and also it translates to modern time and you can still see it happening today. So going back to Olokun feeling disrespected by humankind because they're taking advantage of his water. How do we see water being taken advantage of today? By the industrial industry, by mining, by stealing gold from by taking stuff from the ocean, selling it, taking away his treasures. Technology, the internet, all of that has something to do and utilizes the ocean where he is, and he's like, okay, y'all just taking my stuff, disrespecting me, but y'all not giving nothing in return. So who is the Orisha that's over industrial metal technology? Ogun. So this is a story where they say Olokun and Ogun were at battle with each other because Ogun was basically utilizing his skills and his access to advance the world, all while in the process utilizing Olokun's possession, the ocean. And this also explains the story I was talking about before that's floating around. There's a story floating around where it shares that Ogun was raping his mother Yemaya. So that's where that story comes from, because Ogun was utilizing the access he had to the ocean to advance his field. Basically Yemaya water, Olokun water. So that's how it's translated into modern times of Ogun taking advantage of his mother. So going back to this story where Ogun and Olokun were at battle, basically the same ending happened with Obatala stepping in, Ogun making a chain, but the purpose of Olokun was being upset because he saw the world advancing, but yet you're utilizing my ocean floor without giving anything to me. But of course, with the three alternate endings, that's the same story. And I feel like that story is imperative to share as well, because we could kind of see that battle still going on today. As technology advances, it utilizes the ocean. So I feel like that Olokun and Ogun battle is continuing to happen because the world is still advancing, all while using the ocean floor. All this pollution going on, muddy waters. So that battle, we can still see that in modern time today. And that also leads to the ending of the story where they say Olokun is chained to the bottom of the ocean, so he can't retaliate from what's going on because his waters are so deadly that it can really destroy the world. And that also goes to the fact that they say that a lot of land in the future will soon be underwater due to the wrath of Olokun. And that's why when you see tidal waves, tsunamis, that's when Olokun gets mad all over, and he can't destroy as much as he wants to, but that just is like his that goes on, like his anger that still comes out to this day. So do you guys want to hear about another story of Olokun and his wrath and his power? Okay, good, because here it is. So one day the Orisha Oku, or some say Oku or Oka, I say Oku, he saw this young lady's face from across the way and just thought she was the most beautiful thing he has ever seen in life. So he decided to go to her father for permission in marriage. So he went to Olokun and Obatala, basically saying, she's so beautiful, please let me have her hand in marriage, she is gorgeous. And they were like, okay, but you saw her face, she does have a deformity we must let you know about, but do not bring her deformity up to her if you decide to marry her. Basically, don't throw it up in her face. If you're going to choose to marry her, love her without making her feel shame about her deformity that she has. So he was like, no problem. He was so obsessed with how beautiful her face was. He was like, listen, if her face looked like that, anything else I'm cool with. So later when he met her, saw her full body, he was like, okay, so this is what they were talking about, but I can't back down now. I agreed to marry her. So they were married. They were happy. She was helping him sell his crops at the farmer's market, or at the market. I call it the farmer's market because I'm like, where else do you sell crops? But she was helping him sell his crops that he grew. But one day, for some reason, she could not make any sales and didn't sell anything. So Oku was so upset that she didn't make any sales. He started yelling and screaming, and then said, and that's why your body looked like that. He didn't say it like that, but he threw the deformity in her face. So she was so upset, so embarrassed that she went to Olokun and was like, look what he said about me. He said this, and that. Olokun was like, okay, we told you not to bring it up in her face if you agreed to marry her. He got from 0 to 100. He got so upset that he wanted to go after him, but not only him, everybody, because he agreed to not bring up the deformity, but yet he did. So Olokun was like, all right, partner, it's my turn now. Let's get it. Let's go. So Obatala saw what Olokun was getting ready to do and decided to step in. And this is where the story goes back to Obatala standing between the ocean and the land of the people, and all of that stuff. So basically it's different endings and different beginnings that led to Obatala having to step in and chain Olokun to the bottom of the ocean, or him being chained to the bottom of the ocean. Those are just different versions of the story, but we all get the moral of how dangerous Olokun wrath is when he feel like him, his possessions, his children are being disrespected, how dangerous his powers can be. And that's why he is now at the bottom of the ocean, chained down. So I hope those versions of the stories are not too confusing, and I also wanted to share that as well to show you guys you may learn different versions of different stories. You may hear it from different people. Some details may be different, but the moral of the story is usually the same. So in this story, to respect the ocean, to respect the power of Olokun, when you go to the ocean, make sure you pay respects to him as well. If you're going to see Yemaya, keep Yemaya and Olokun connected together because their powers flow so well together. Get it? They're like one wave, one tide, one stride, one stroke. Just some more information about Olokun. He is praised and usually idolized and respected for his ability to share wealth, because he holds the secrets to wealth and abundance, and you guys will hear more about that when I go into the story of Orunmila. But he is just the guardian, the god, the Orisha, the all-knowing of the riches, wealth, and abundance in the world. And usually children of Yemaya and Olokun, you may find it easy for you to make money. You are very protective of your children, people you care about. You get really upset when you feel disrespected or taken advantage of. And you're not quick to anger, but when you are angry, you may find that people are always trying to calm you down, because you know once you get to that point, you're there and some punishment must happen. People usually come to you because you're very knowledgeable. You may have a lot of business sense and you share a lot of business advice. Even if you've never been in business before, you just find it easy to come up with ideas, marketing plans for people. You're like, how do I even know that? Like, I don't even own a business, but that information just comes easy to you and it's easy for you to understand. And even if you don't know, you may be that person that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can always help people. You're very connected to people. Even if you don't have a lot of friends, you just have a lot of acquaintances where you have access to. Like, I can't help you, but I met someone before that they can help with this and that. You're very well connected, and this goes to technology, the internet, where everything is a web and everything is connected due to the source at the bottom of the ocean. And you genuinely care for people. Even if you don't want to care, you may be upset with someone, they may have disappointed you, but you still care. Going back to the story of Olokun, he was so upset with people, but Obatala was able to calm him down. Like, dang, maybe I shouldn't just, take off everybody on this earth. I mean, dang, he was still upset, but found the grace in him to back down and to share mercy for people, no matter how bad they may have disrespected him. Many people go to Obatala for knowledge on wealth, health, and prosperity. His colors are blue, white, and in some cases black. He owns and knows the mysteries to life and death, and basically is considered an all-knowing, secretive, mysterious, dangerous, but yet powerful Orisha. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video of the story of Olokun. Let me know down below some information, some facts, and some stories you may know about Olokun, but keep it respectful because we are all learning the different energies that are floating around this world and makes who we are today and the energies that we possess as well. But like I always say, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. Until next time, you guys, Ashe, baby.